29 years old, Caucasian with a little bit of native, male, conservative, from the South, a salesman in the Pacific Northwest. What are your assumptions for that type of a demographic? What are your assumptions or stereotypes for somebody that has that profile? Stereotyping can be so easy. It's natural. It's your brain's way of deciphering through your circumstances what social skills to apply to each circumstance and how to change potentially the way you behave sometimes to be more productive. And it's not always a bad thing. But what happens when somebody doesn't know who they are? A common response might be to simply believe the assumptions or the stereotypes of those around them. And that can be a dangerous thing. Does your culture and your family, your upbringing, and your habits shape who you are today? Absolutely. But what happens when you're not stereotypical? You know what I like? I like UFC. I like welding. I like building things with my hands. I like classic rock. But you know what else I like is I like sewing. And I like singing. I like dancing. I like listening to Josh Groban. I like doing other things that aren't stereotypical for somebody in my demographic. You know what my son likes? My son loves dinosaurs. He loves superheroes. And he also loves his baby doll and taking care of his baby doll. So what's something that you really enjoy doing that society or your culture or your environment has said that you shouldn't enjoy, or that somebody from your stereotypical demographic should not be participating in? See, I think sometimes we get so caught up in trying to be who we're supposed to be that we start to lose a part of who we are. Sometimes it even plays into politics. Liberals thinking I can't have certain beliefs because that's for conservatives, and conservatives vice versa thinking I can't have certain beliefs because society has said that's what liberals are supposed to believe. You know, I'm completely come from a conservative background. My wife comes from a more liberal background, and lo and behold, we find that we have more often than not more in common than separate. See, I think society has told us that there are certain things that we have to avoid because of the parameters that our culture has set up. And I think sometimes what happens is we start to forget that God created us to be unique with our own hobbies and our own characteristics and our own passions and the things that make us a little bit different from everybody else. And maybe you are completely stereotypical. Maybe you just fit the bill of the stereotypical person from your demographic. And that's fantastic too, because it's who you are and you have a community of people who are a lot like you. But what am I trying to get to? That God has created you to be unique. That He has created you to be who you are, and oftentimes we get so caught up in going from one extreme of a stereotype to the other that we forget to stop and just ask God, who am I? Who have you created me to be? And what have you created me to really take joy in? That God knit you in your mother's womb, that He knew you before you were even born, and that He delights in who you are. So don't rob yourself and rob the world this week by falling into a stereotype of who you're expected to be.